Welcome to our Spring Discovery Tier Wine Club. If you made it here, thanks a lot. It means a lot to me. The wines we've selected for the Spring Discovery Tier are 3 white wines from France, from the Loire Valley and from Burgundy, and then 3 red wines, 1 from Burgundy, and then 2 from Italy. These wines will be nice to open in the spring because they're light and fresh, and you can also enjoy the reds with a nice dinner. So none of these wines are too heavy, and they're not too light. So you'll get a mix of wines that are fresh and nice to open outside if it's a warmer spring day. And you'll also have great, enjoyable reds for a nice evening spring dinner. I'm going to talk about the wines in the order that I would personally enjoy them at dinner. First, I would start with Sancerre. It's one of the most famous white wine appellations in France, and for good reason. So Sancerre is made from the Sauvignon Blanc grape within a village in the Loire Valley, which is south of Paris. And in that village is called Sancerre. A lot of times on menus though, you'll just see Sancerre, especially at restaurants. They might not even say that it's Sauvignon Blanc. Though Sancerre is a benchmark for Sauvignon Blanc, and it's a little different style than, for example, New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. It'll be a little less tropical, it'll be a little bit more mineral, and I would say a little bit more elegant. This Sancerre I would have as an aperitif. It's also excellent with goat cheese and some light seafood dishes. That'll pair perfectly with this. Sancerre has a distinct taste and quality of grapefruit and lemon, which you'll feel in the wine. And also, this Sancerre is grown on land that used to be seashells, so you might even feel a little taste of something like a seashell. So this Chablis from Domaine Mosnier is a premier cru, or as they say in France, premier cru. What that means is it's from a specific vineyard within Chablis. You can think about it as a specific plot of land where the grapes for this specific wine are grown. So in Chablis, you'll find exclusively white wine that's called Chablis. Again, kind of like Sancerre, it's the name of the region. The grape is Chardonnay. So all throughout Burgundy, 99% of the white wines are made from Chardonnay, and 99% of the red wines are made from Pinot Noir. Because that's almost a given with Burgundy wines, a lot of times the labels won't even have the name of the grape, it'll just say the village. So for example, this one is Chablis. Some of the California Chardonnays are like oaky, they're almost like, they're super buttery and viscous, and it's, for me, sometimes tough to drink more than a glass of those wines. Chablis is known for a textbook mineral characteristic. This is a very nice wine, and it's one of the best wines you could have with seafood. Chablis has a ton of exports into Japan, so that tells you that it's a wonderful pairing with sushi. It's also excellent with things like oysters, and I would say from this wine you can expect flavors of lemon, green apple, and some very nice minerality. For our next wine, so Chablis is in the very northwest of Burgundy, and then now we're gonna go all the way to the southern end of Burgundy to the Mâconnais region. When you go all the way south to Burgundy, you get to the Mâconnais region, which again is all Chardonnay grapes, or 99% Chardonnay grapes. And in the Mâconnais, you get a little bit rounder, more textured wines. That's why I have this as the 3rd white wine in a dinner party that I would host. Pouilly-Fuissé is the name of the village within the Mâconnais, and it's one of their flagship villages because it produces a nice, rich, textured, savory wine. This wine you can also enjoy, if maybe Sancerre and Chablis you enjoy as like the Sancerre as an aperitif, the Chablis with appetizers. The Pouilly-Fuissé you could have with a first course. It'll be perfect with like chicken, things like that. For the next red wine, we're gonna stay in Burgundy and we're gonna go a little bit north. We're gonna be between the Mâconnais and Chablis. We're going to Beaune. So Beaune is one of the main cities in the Burgundy region. If you go to Burgundy and you don't stay at a winery, chances are you'll stay in Beaune. It's a beautiful town, and despite what you might think, it's not a sleepy town at all, even though it's in the center of Burgundy, one of the most prestigious wine regions in the world. Beaune is a lively town. There's a lot of bars, restaurants. It's absolutely packed, and it's a blast on the weekends. So like I mentioned about white wines from Burgundy, they're 99% of the time Chardonnay grape, and then red wine from Burgundy, 99% of the time is made from Pinot Noir. It just says the village where it's from. So it's Beaune, and then Les Mariages is the specific vineyard where this wine is from. And it's actually a cool story because when couples would get married in Beaune, this is the vineyard, as you can say, translates to the Mariages. This is the vineyard where the newlyweds would stroll through. This Beaune is full of finesse. You'll taste things like a little bit of a cherry flavor, maybe even a hint of raspberry, but overall it's a light, aromatic wine, and it'll pair very nicely with light main course dishes. For the next wine, we go to Italy. We're gonna do a Barbaresco, one of the most famous wines in Italy, and for good reason. It's made from Nebbiolo grape, and it comes from the village in Piedmont called Barbaresco. You might have also heard of Barolo. It's also made from Nebbiolo grape, and Barolo and Barbaresco are pretty much adjacent villages. Both grow Nebbiolo grape. Barolo a little bit more powerful, some more oomph. Barbaresco a little bit more elegant and nuanced. Typically, you can also enjoy the Barbarescos a little bit younger, whereas the top Barolos are made to age for decades. Maybe you've heard me talk about it before. The Nebbiolo grape is one of my favorite types of grapes and wines for steak because it has these nice tannins. And so the tannins kind of give you a grippy feel in the mouth. So when you have a juicy steak, those tannins just cut perfectly through the steak, and then the light cherry flavor of the Barbaresco is just chef's kiss on top. And now for our last wine, our sixth wine total and our third red wine, we're gonna stay in Italy, and we're gonna go to Tuscany, a very prestigious region called Bolgheri, which you've probably heard of because it's wines where like Sassicaia come from. So here we have Bolgheri Bridges. It's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. Within the Bolgheri region, a lot of times you see these Bordeaux blend of grapes, not necessarily the traditional Italian grapes like Sangiovese or Nebbiolo. So the Bolgheri, of course, it can also be called a Super Tuscan because it's made within Tuscany. This wine is gonna be probably the fuller bodied of the three red wines. It's gonna have some notes of dark fruit, maybe a little spice, and it's great with any savory entree, anything from hearty pastas to steak, grilled meats, lamb is gonna be perfect. Thank you for joining our Discovery Tier Wine Club. This was the Spring 2026 shipment. If you have any questions, please reach out.